Welcome to the October 2021 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, members, staff, and guests. We ask for your patience during this hybrid meeting. Multiple staff members are behind the scenes to make sure all applicants and citizens are able to communicate with the board at the appropriate times.
Board members and applicants are participating in person. The public is able to participate in person or via virtual options. The public may stream the meetings through City TV, accessed at youtube.com/user/ColumbiaSCGovernment. The public may submit letters and statements via email to cocboardmeeting@columbiasc.gov leading up to and/or during the meeting, as the account will be monitored during the meeting. Emails, letters will be read into the record by staff. The public may participate via phone by calling 1-855-925-2801, and when prompted, please enter meeting code 2323. Those participating by phone will receive three options. Star 1 will allow you to listen. Star 2 allows you to record a voice message that will be read into the record. Please make sure to speak clearly and leave your name and the case information so we know which case you're calling about. And Star 3 will allow a participant to be placed in a queue to speak live when prompted. At any time while listening on the call, you can hit the star in your chosen option. We do ask that you wait until your specific case is called before you hit Star 3. You can also stream the meeting at publicinput.com/cocboza-OCT2021. And if you're participating by phone while also streaming the meeting on your computer, please just make sure to mute the audio on your computer to avoid any feedback issues. And also to note, there's just a large audio delay between Zoom and the live recording. So you may notice us pause a couple of times. It's just to allow the audio to catch up. And I'll do roll call. Mr. Dinkins?
Here.
Mr. Gregory?
Here.
Mr. Primus?
Here.
Ms. Fenner? Here. Mr. Ginyard is absent, and Ms. McIntosh? Here. We have a quorum.
Applicants with requests before the Board of Zoning Appeals are allotted a presentation time of 10 minutes. This time should include, but is not limited to, an overview of the project, case history, and any pertinent meetings held regarding the request. This time also includes all persons presenting information on behalf of the applicant, such as attorneys, engineers, and architects. This time limit does not include any questions asked by the Board of Zoning Appeals or staff regarding the request. Any member of the general public may address the board in intervals of 3 minutes or 5 minutes if by a spokesperson for an established body or for a group of 3 or more. The applicant will then have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The board reserves the right to amend these procedures on a case-by-case basis. All right, those of you who plan to speak must be sworn. If you are here as an applicant or here to speak in any case, please stand at this time and raise your right hand. All right, do you affirm or attest that the testimony you will give today is the truth and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you.
And before I get going with the consent agenda, just a few housekeeping matters. I wanted to just reiterate that case 2021-0091, which is a special exception on Elmwood Avenue to establish a school, that has been deferred to next month, so that will not be heard today. And case 5 and 6, which is 2021-0086 and 2021-0087 for 1206 Mount Vernon and 2214 Harper Street. Those were withdrawn by the applicant prior to the meeting, so
Really?
those won't be heard today either. And the board uses the consent agenda to approve non-controversial or routine matters by a single motion and vote. If a member of the board or the general public wishes to discuss an item on the consent agenda, that item is removed and then placed on the regular. The board then approves the remaining consent agenda items. And I will review the consent agenda. We do have one member of the board who is recused from case number 2, so when we vote on the consent agenda, you'll just need to make sure to split the votes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I've been advised to also recuse myself from that.
Okay? So that would mean we would not have a quorum for case number 2.
Can you explain exactly what that means?
Without a quorum, to vote on a case, we need to have a quorum, so we would not be able to vote on that matter. It would get pushed to the next month to ensure that there's a quorum. The first item is the approval of the September 2nd, 2021 minutes. In case 2021-0088 for 800 Hugie Street will have to be deferred to next month due to lack of quorum. The next matter is case number 3, which is 2021-0089. This is for 3421 North Main Street. This is a special exception to expand the footprint of an existing residential care campus. And to note, this is not expanding bed count or increasing resident count. It is just to add a new structure on the campus. And case number 4 is 4701 James Street. This is a special exception to permit a beauty salon in a residence as a home occupation. And if anyone wishes to speak on a case or remove a case from the consent agenda prior to the board vote, please let us know now. And we will pause to give time for audio to catch up, just for any public comment. Rachel?
3421 Main Street, I would like to have a forum, the butler, because
Can you approach the podium, ma'am?
And please state your name for the record.
my name is Pat Meyer. 3421 North Main I'm concerned with. And the reason I'm concerned is because it appears that each year they are expanding, and that's not a whole big lot
Okay.
to expand on.
We won't get into all that now, but we'll remove that item from the consent agenda, and you'll have your chance, and we'll go through the normal procedure. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, it'll go on the regular agenda. All right, so we will move that one to after case 8 on the agenda.
Okay.
Do we have any emails or callers? All right, and there's no callers or emails, so that, for the consent agenda, you all will be voting on the approval of the minutes and 4701 James Street. So item number 1 and item number 4.
Okay. I'd like to ask for a motion for the consent agenda, please.
I move that we approve, subject to staff comments and as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
All right, and at this point, we will move into a period of executive session if the board chooses to do so.
I'd like to make a motion that we move into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, and you all will just go to the conference room that
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to resume a normal board meeting. We're going to come out of executive session, and I'd like to note for the record that no action was taken during our executive session. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Aye.
All right, that leads us to the next item on the agenda, which is a request for a rehearing for case 2021-0084, which was for 1511 Gregg Street, which came before you in the last meeting. I just want to go over the rehearing process from our rules and procedures. That should a request for rehearing be placed on the agenda, the party requesting the rehearing shall be notified to appear before the board. Testimony is allowed only by leave of the board if necessary for the limited purpose of developing an understanding of the nature of the request. If the motion to grant a rehearing is approved, the case shall be put on the calendar for a hearing at the next meeting and will be posted and re-advertised. I just wanted to make that clear. I think there might be some people in the audience today who wanted to speak on this matter from the public. There's not going to be any public input for this. That would be if a rehearing was granted. And I think we had someone on the phone line for the same reason. So I just wanted to state that public input isn't taken for a request such as this.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we have these happen every now and then, so this is a request for a rehearing. So would the applicants like to approach, or we received your letter, so I don't know, it's pretty clear to us, but don't know, would you like an opportunity to approach for a couple of minutes? Or would you like for us just to proceed? Okay, and before you begin, let me reiterate what Rachel said. So this is a request for a rehearing. So this is not what we want to give you a couple of minutes to describe to us why you do think there should be a rehearing, but this is not to go over what you think, an error that we may have made or issues why you think the request should have been granted. That is not what you're given the opportunity to speak on.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
and state your name, please.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity to even request reconsideration for a rehearing. And I think after the hearing in September,
And would you state your name for the record?
oh, I'm sorry, Julie Ann Avon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We are asking to present new evidence and
Exactly.
evidence of an error or mutual mistake that affected the outcome.
Right.
And that's what we'd like to do
Right, and that's what
in a
we.
new hearing.
That's, and exactly today, what we want to hear is what the new evidence is for the rehearing, nothing to do with the mistake we may have made.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Yeah, just please, want to just make sure you understand, what we're asking is, want you to describe for a couple of minutes what the new evidence is that you're presenting to us. That's the goal here, not to go over a possible mistake, just so you're clear.
Okay. So the reasons we're asking for?
Yes.
Okay. We feel that there was a conflict of interest with one of the board
Okay,
members.
but that,
No, you don't want me to?
no, we can't have that, and it's not that I don't want to, that's not, a request for rehearing may only be granted if you present evidence that could not have reasonably been presented before you, approach.
Is there evidence?
Yeah, or what is it that yes,
New evidence.
the new
Okay.
evidence, correct, thank you.
That could
Yes.
not have been reasonably withheld.
Right. So any error that we may have made or conflict of interest, although that may be important to your case moving forward, that can't be discussed today, that's not. what we're
Okay. I'm really sorry. I'm having a very hard time understanding. I'm going to ask, if I may,
Yeah,
for
it's-
someone
it's
else
hard
to
with-
speak
with
on
the
our
mask
behalf.
on. I'll take it off for a second so we can talk. It's hard.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Steve Ham.
And Mr. Ham, you came in after we had sworn the members, correct? You have not been sworn.
Yes, I came in from a meeting in.
Right, so you have not been
and I'll
sworn.
be happy to be.
Yes, please do. Please raise your right hand.
Of course,
Yeah, do you attest that the testimony you give today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. I was trying to listen very carefully to you, Mr. Chairman. We are, number one, for purposes of your record and your procedures, the letter that we filed was intended to outline the materials that we were not aware of at the time of the hearing on September the 2nd. And again, I heard you carefully, so I'm not attempting to argue the strength or weakness of anything, but that
Okay.
is a material issue to us. And again, I'm trying to be responsive. I'm not raising the conflict issue. But we do believe that as part of the original hearing, and again, I want to be very, very respectful of this zoning board. I'm a former state agency head. I've been in state government. I've been in private practice. And as a citizen of our community, I want to thank all of you for your service. So our standing here is not intended to try to cast aspersions on the good faith efforts. But number one, we think that what we believe to be substantially similar exception granted in previous years, of which we weren't aware of how closely identical it was. We did not know about it, and in good faith, thought we had checked everything, but anyway, we missed it. That would be one of the bases. And without getting into any details, we would be at the new hearing presenting evidence on the application of the criteria that apply to this exception that we don't believe were correctly applied. I think I can say that. And the combination of those, and again, Mr. Chairman, I want to be entirely respectful to each and every one of you. We raised in our letter concerns about certain statements in the record that we believe applied inaccurate standards and called into question
And
standards that apply. And we would intend in the new hearing, sir, to address those quickly, point those out. But we very strongly believe that the record that is now in front of you, it is unfortunate the way that it sits. We think it's in this board's interest, in the community's interest to revisit it, eliminate some of the extraneous issues that may be somewhat emotional. We don't want to get into that here. And we believe providing this information, one of which was the exemption that had been previously approved, we believe we would use and we would argue is substantially similar. I think I need to stop there because I'm trying not to
yeah,
do
and
what
that's
you asked
okay,
me not to.
because there's a difference between if you think we made an error
And we do.
or a request, and that's, that's a different matter, and, that's okay. Your letter outlined that, and certainly entitled to
again,
that opinion.
Yes,
Regarding.
we do believe that some errors were made.
And again,
We
that's,
don't believe they were intentional. We think there was some misunderstanding, but unfortunately, those misunderstandings have a tremendously negative impact on the program that.
understood. And there's avenues, if you disagree with our opinion, there are avenues that they can pursue, which it sounds like do. But I guess I do have a question regarding the new material that, that you're presenting here that You know, the matter of the 2013 case, it's public record and you can find it on our website easily. So I guess I would just dispute the applicant's claim that that's new evidence. I mean, it's a matter of record.
You are the chairman. I respect the position that you're announcing. I would say with all great respect, your underlying transcript is extraordinarily troubling regarding the application of the terms of the exceptions. And again, I'm trying to word
Yeah.
this very
And
respectfully.
you may be correct, but if so, that's not grounds to request a new hearing. That would be an appeal request.
And while I respectfully disagree, I'm well aware that you and this board make that final decision. We are, because we think that a racially discriminatory basis was established in the record, which
Right.
has the potential to be offensive in our community. And again, I'm trying to be so careful,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. We think that is correct.
I
Because
think
what
we
you're
get the
saying,
point.
let me just talk where does this leave us? You go, well, that's tough. So you go to court. Because that would have to be our next, and
Well, I
we're
mean-
wanting to avoid that. We're worried that we have acquired the underlying property at very advantageous situation. And if we have to go to court, we're going to lose both the funding and the property that we're trying to protect. So whether that's a standard that you apply, I don't argue to that, but we simply ask that a neutral reading of the underlying record ought to cause this fine board with you fine citizens. I think the South Carolina Supreme Court says that there are abilities to make certain equitable decisions to make sure that decisions are made consistent with existing statutory construction. We don't think that happened here. We think that, like I say, I have no argument to anything that you said, and we believe that given the opportunity, we could clarify the record. This board would have a new transcript that would be devoid of certain references, and we simply respectfully request that Mercy be given the opportunity to make those new presentations. We think it would be beneficial to the community, would be beneficial to the citizens that Mercy serves. And if you all do not have that opportunity, this is not your responsibility, so let me say it. We're very concerned because of the delays in the judicial process. We will lose out on a major opportunity for a program that benefits youth in Columbia. So I think that's all I ought to say, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I do hope each
I
of
think
you
you're
view my comments.
Yeah,
as
I think you're
respectful.
crystal clear. I certainly fully understand exactly.
And I leave
your
it to
opinion.
you good people, but
Okay.
we certainly hope that you, we
All
think you have
Well,
the
thank,
equitable ability to do what we're requesting.
okay, all right, well, thank you for your testimony,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ham, it was very helpful and crystal clear. So, at this point, I would like to ask one member of the board to address one item that was briefly brought up. Celia, could you issue a brief statement, please?
Sure. I think it's relevant because should the board decide to have a rehearing, I would not recuse myself in the future because my firm and me personally have no financial interest in this application. So that's very
Thank
cut
you.
and dry.
Wanted her to speak briefly to the conflict of interest paragraph that appeared in the letter. Okay, well, we've heard from the applicants, there is no public input for this matter, it's just a procedural thing, and we're really not gonna have any board discussion because we've had an executive session, although no action was taken. But at this point, I would like to ask for a motion to either approve or deny the request for the rehearing from a member of the board.
I move that we deny the request for a rehearing on the basis that there has been no new information that could not have been reasonably presented at the hearing. None of that has been presented to us at this time.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we will move on to the regular agenda. We will use the following outline. Staff will introduce the case. Applicant will have 10 minutes to make a presentation. The board may ask questions during or after that presentation. And the public will be allowed to participate via email, voicemail, or phone comment. The applicant will have time for a rebuttal if necessary, and then action by the board. As I had mentioned previously, item number 5 and 6 withdrew, and item number 7 deferred, so we are on to item number 8, which is 2021-0092. This is for 2324 Two Notch Road. It's a special exception to permit a convenience store. I believe the applicant is present, and she is welcome to come to the podium.
Hello, how you doing today?
Good afternoon. Please state your name.
My name is Sabrina Hammonds, and I am here in regards to the special exception for my convenience store. The store was previously a store before the exception was needed. The previous owners obviously did not abide by the rules and regulations of submitting their application for their business license, so it lapsed, which led me to do a special exceptions today. This is my first time opening up a store, so I'm very new at this. I've gone through a lot of different roadblocks, and I'm here today to try to go past this one. For the actual neighborhood, I just feel like the convenience store that I want to possess is going to be good for the neighborhood, only because before it has had some problems. So I've came in and I've cleaned it up as much as I can. I've repainted, I redid all the glass, the broken glass. I made the scenery look nice. I actually, spent some money and time into making the community store better for the community. They were used to it being what it was, and when I came in, I decided it needed a new look and a new person because no one knew me. They just knew all the previous owners, and they represented that store as the previous owners or the previous store. So now I'm here just asking you guys for an exception to let you know that I do plan to abide by all the rules with keeping the loitering down, also trash. I've ordered all the receptacles for the store. I have 4 bins. They wouldn't give me a big one because of the space that I have for the store. It's small, but I did make sure they gave me the most that I could get just to keep the trash down. I have blowers. I have an employee that I make sure will blow the driveway and the surrounding area of the store to keep the trash. I also ordered the cigarette butt receptacles to keep down that type of trash, as well as planted little flowers just to make it look better. As opposed to the crime prevention, I did reach out to one of the police, Mr. Bell, with joining any actions with keeping crime down around the area. Lately, for the last month and a half, because that's when I purchased the store, I've seen tremendous change. A lot of people seen tremendous change. I've gotten a lot of people come up to me and just tell me how great I've done to the store, and I mean, it makes me feel good because I am a woman, and I've just put a lot of pride into trying to make this a better place for the community to come and shop and be welcome and feel at home. So I did name it BYF, which stands for Build Your Family, because I'm all about, family and outreach. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do, just give back and, let everyone welcome in that neighborhood know that they have a clean, safe environment to come shop where they don't have to feel scared or don't want to stop there because there's people standing outside the store or anything like that. So
Well, very good. Very good presentation. I thought your application was thorough. I think you did a good job answering the criteria that were used, that were asked to vote this request on. Looks like you've done your homework,
Thank you.
which is important. Do any members of the board have any questions for our applicant? Very thorough.
Thank you.
Don't have any questions. Very good. Okay, would any members of the public like to speak on this matter? All right.
I haven't seen any emails come in, but we'll pause just for a minute to see if any calls, just to let the audio catch up. It doesn't look like anyone's on the line.
Okay, I wouldn't imagine there's going to be any, but do we have any board discussion? All right, simple enough. I'd like to ask for a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this special exception request, subject to the staff comments and the application. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, very good. Good luck with your store. You're welcome.
All right, and we will go back to item number 3, which was removed from the consent agenda. This is case 2021-0089 for 3421 North Main Street. If the applicant wants to approach the podium, I will get back to that case on the slideshow here.
Thank you.
Because this was on the consent agenda, I have not sworn in, nor have several other folks.
Thank you.
So
Yes, anyone who wishes to speak on this matter, please stand and raise your right hand. Okay, do you swear that the testimony that you will give us today is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Please state your name.
Wonderful. My name is John Powell. I'm with Seed Architecture and representing the Providence Home, which is the property currently on your screen. Providence Home was granted a special exception a number of years ago to expand a number of beds that it serves. Providence Home is a residential care facility on North Main Street. Recently, the Providence Home, as an entity, purchased an additional parcel adjacent to them and contiguous to the campus. And so with that parcel, the Providence Home would like to build a chapel. This is not a request for additional beds. This is not a request for additional parking. There is no intended additional people coming and going from the property. This is primarily to serve the men who live here and engage in the services here, the staff, and others who are already part of the Providence Home workings and ministry. Providence Home has received a great deal of support from community members, the city, the county, greatly encouraged by the work that they're doing. Rob Settle is the executive director. He can answer questions as well about what Providence Home does and is in the community. I also have with me Tom Britt, who's the civil engineer on the project. He worked closely with me in organizing the campus so that we're not overlapping property lines or any other setbacks. What we're asking for is not a special exception for the building per se, but actually the integration of this new parcel that was purchased a little over a year ago into the existing special exception for the overall property. Rachel can correct me if I'm not accurate in that, but hopefully that's a brief enough explanation. Again, there's no intended impact on traffic flow or on additional beds in this facility. It's really simply to enhance the campus life. They already have chapel services, but it's in an existing building. It's not well suited for that purpose. And so this is to provide a service on that campus that's already going on, but in a better way.
So is this a new building?
It would be a new building. So in the heart of what you're looking at, there's a sort of a reddish dash. On Main Street, there are already two buildings that front Main Street. There are already two buildings that front the rear street. I'm trying to Elmhurst. There's another one that faces another street. This is going to be actually in the middle. So the front, the quote-unquote front of the chapel building is actually going to face into the center of the campus. It will hardly be visible at all from Main Street. It will hardly be visible from Elmhurst in the back. You can see it there. It's the building that's furthest south. And actually all the lines you see between the property line and that chapel building are all the various setbacks and clearances. You can see from that, the building's almost 40 feet off of that other property line. So there's an intentionality about keeping this within the existing campus infrastructure. So the goal is not to present a major challenge to you or project before the board, but we would appreciate your granting this expansion to the special exemption that was granted a number of years ago for the campus.
Okay.
If you have any particular questions for either Rob Settle or Tom Britt, they're certainly available to answer questions, but to keep this brief, I'm glad to turn it back over to the board.
Since it's on the regular agenda, I just have one question.
Certainly.
Are you demoing any buildings or is this just strictly new construction?
This is strictly new construction. So once upon a time, there was a storage shed that was roughly in this location was taken out previously. There's an existing concrete pad that is remaining that we would be pulling up. But no, there are no buildings presently there that we would have to tear down in order to build this.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just for make sure that the task at hand is that the parcel is being moved into it. Correct.
It's incorporating that parcel, but also just
The use.
the new construction on there too. It's just an expansion of the campus, basically, to incorporate that new parcel.
So I may have misspoke. I apologize. Please clarify. Correct me where I'm wrong.
So it is just expanding the campus. So you're right that it's adding in that new parcel, but it's also referencing just the construction of the new building on the campus.
So both parts are relevant.
Yes. So, and I also just want to note that the location of the proposed building is completely outside of the North Main Design District. That's on the front half of the parcel that faces North Main, and then as you get back towards Elmhurst, the design district does not expand all the way.
I think that line is along the site.
It is. It's right next to it, yeah.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you.
Certainly. Thank you.
All right, are there any members from the public who would like to speak on this matter?
As I stated before, my name is Pat Meyer. The reason I think Providence House said one thing, but they have a lot of people just constantly in the street. And I live in that area. In the beginning, when it was it used to be a really nice place, but too many people in the street. And I believe if once you give them permission to build a chapel, they said that they want to build a community, activity community for community center. Now it's a chapel, because on the sign says that it was going to be an activity center. And now they said it's just going to be a chapel. So what are they actually going to build? And will there be more parcels?
Well, I mean, I
Providence
think it's
Home-
pretty clear. They're building a chapel.
And I just want to clarify, that's the zoning district. The
Okay.
zoning district's the community activity center and corridor. So that might be where that confusion came in.
Okay, because it definitely was out there.
Yeah, the sign had that zoning district on there.
Yes, it did.
Mhm.
And that's where my confusion comes.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna build an activity center, that creates more problems than anything. And before, they used, I don't know whether they still do or not, but before they used to have the service, it was a nice place. And I'm just wondering, will they be expanding out more and more? Because a residential care facility is supposed to be, we're not supposed to have another one over there.
Well-
And about a year ago, they had something built, now they want something else built. And it seemed like each year it's keep expanding.
And they may, but I'll ask the zoning administrator. If they do, will they not have to be back in front of the board?
Yes, any
So-
expansion would bring them back before the
So
board.
this is only for the chapel, and anything in the future would be back in front of us.
Okay, because I think that, once you start building one thing, the next thing, a year before you build a building for something else, now you want a chapel, now what are you gonna want built more? And if they acquire more land and therefore that residential care community is gonna be all over the place, so what about bringing in new business in that area? New business don't wanna be around residential care facility. And so I'm just looking for the future.
Understood. Well, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other members who would like to, members of the public who would like to speak?
Good evening.
Hey.
My name is Johnny Nelson. I'm a member of the Hyde Park Kennedy Terrace Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
The Providence Home have been located at this location for over 40 years. And we as the community have not had any complaints, formal complaints that come before us. And we in favor of the zoning or the exception that they're requesting. My president, my vice president, and the community leaders, all in favor of them being accepted. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Would anyone else from the public like to speak on this matter? Okay, hearing none. Rachel, do we have anyone on the line or any emails or letters?
No emails. Is there anyone on the? And we don't have any callers on the line.
Okay, well, at this point then, we'll move into board discussion. So I'll start, seems pretty straightforward to me. They're not expanding, it's one thing if you're talking about adding more residents or more beds, but here they've acquired a little more land, so they want to put a chapel in the middle of the facility. I really don't have any questions or complaints here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's pretty straightforward.
All right, well, easy enough. At this point then, I'd like to ask for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve this special exception request subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Good luck.
So I just wanted to, Jean already knows,
We have an
but
announcement.
I just wanted to let you all know, this is my last meeting with you all. Bye guys. I'm leaving the city as of October 26th. So I just wanted to say it's been a joy working with you all. So, and I'll keep you all posted as I just gave my notice a few days ago. So it's new, we're figuring stuff out. I will keep you all posted and make sure that you all are in good hands. And I can confirm a new member was just appointed on Tuesday, so I will get with him and get
Good.
him situated. And Jean, you can join us. We'll get him
Okay.
situated before I leave you all.
That'd be great.
So, but I just wanted to let you all
Well,
know.
Rachel, I'm sure that the city really is going to miss you. I've worked with a few zoning administrators, and I can tell you, you've done a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And they were lucky to have you for as many years as they did. So let's hope the new zoning administrators is thorough and as good at their job as you are.
Hopefully.
Hope so. We'll see.
Gonna miss you, Rachel.
So, but thank you all. So, but other than that, there is no
Okay.
other business.
Well, that's a pretty big one. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. All right. Very good.